Well, in the last 30 minutes of the next hour, I'm going to take calls and cover news now. Tucker had an extremely informative, revered historian on. And I'm quite the expert on these subjects, so I can tell you everything he's saying is dead on. And then he's obviously always up on the latest. And he got threatened and persecuted by the EU and the CIA on record for exposing them and how they're destroying society by design. But it's very refreshing to see the private Fed head and the private head of the EU central bank saying, we're obsolete. Everyone hates us. What Trump's doing with crypto is going to destroy us. Yes, sir. Oh, you won't do what I say? I'll just create a whole new system. And then obviously that can all be abused too. But diversity in economic systems is always the answer to tyranny. And Trump is creating a decentralized, wide spectrum system that will be a huge boom and will destroy the private central bank's dominance. As I played the head of the private central bank of Europe admitting last hour. It's very, very exciting. Now, let me give you the toll-free number. First-time callers on bad guys in charge, so he'd have an enemy. And this is all on record, just like the West helped put al-Qaeda in now into Syria. And now they've been slaughtering Christians en masse. So I don't want to hear about defensive civilization from Netanyahu when this is going on. It's disgusting. No, you need to have bad guys in there so you can come in and take over and stay in power when you're unpopular. And Trump's been wanting peace deals, and that's been totally ignored. So for a long time, this has been happening for really since 47. But it's intensified. We're now in Gaza and in Bethlehem and in the West Bank and just everywhere. You have Israel, through its militia settlers, firebombing and burning people's houses, homes, running huge attacks, spray painting, death threats, killing people. And they're Orthodox Christians, Coptic Christians, and Catholic Christians. And they're not anti-Israel, and they've been there for thousands of years. And so Mike Huckabee, and I showed the footage a few weeks ago, the last big attack, now more happened over the last few days. You see this, well, the last Christian villages in the West Bank, and the houses are on fire, the cars are on fire, and Israel's not even denying they're doing this. It's not like it's some false flag. So you show that again. Just show Christian village, last Christian village in West Bank burned. I showed it last week, 2 weeks ago. And you can see the church is getting blown up, and then Israel says that that's an accident. So now, Huckabee 2 weeks ago sends a letter to Israel and to Netanyahu, and he's the ambassador, he basically lives over there. He's totally pro-Israel. And I like Huckabee on domestic policies. He's a nice guy. Well, and I get you got to choose a side. I mean, he's been a Christian Zionist his whole career. I mean, he talks about Israel more than he does America, okay? And I get it. That's part of his faith, and all that. But, I mean, this is a slobbering, sycophantic supporter of whoever's in charge of Israel. And he's involved with the aid groups, and they run ads on Fox and everywhere else, and the Christian networks, raising billions a year from American Protestant Zionists. I mean, you go to a mainline Protestant church, folks, and I mean, it's as pro-Israel than a right-wing synagogue. I mean, probably more so. I mean, you go in there and you think you're worshiping Judaism, not Jesus Christ. And so Huckabee starts sending him letters going, hey, man, you can't blow up the last few Christian villages and kill everybody and blow their churches up and firebomb their houses. This looks really bad. Now, is that Huckabee trying to hurt Israel or help Israel? No, any moron would know that the way these settlers are behaving is why American Christians don't like Muslims. You're acting as anti-Christian as a frickin' ISIS person. And again, I don't want Israel to be blown up. I don't have a fetish to hate Israel. But I will not apologize for criticizing Israel, was trying to drag us into war, manipulating our domestic policies, trying to censor here domestically. And the Jewish lobby is constantly, joining the left, criticizing white people and Western culture and saying it's racist, when, hey, bro, you got an ethno-state over there. There's laws that a non-Jew can't marry a Jew in Israel. You get arrested. And you know what? We don't harp on that. Okay, have your state. Be proud of your religion and ethnicity or whatever. I mean, I'm all for people doing their own thing. Just don't lecture us when we're not doing 1/10 as Western Christians to have some protection of our culture, just a tiny bit. And you tell us it is the devil. And then you do stuff that is just outrageous. U.S. says attack on West Bank Palestinian church was an act of terror. Reuters. So even the Trump administration and Huckabee says this is terrorism. Stop it. And then I've got the quotes here from the local kibbutz newspapers and websites where they literally say, we're going to drive all Gentiles. You're all a threat. You're all bad. So that is their response to Huckabee, trying to get them to stop destroying themselves in the eyes of the world. And that's a microcosm of this real-life snuff film we're watching with everybody getting starved and slaughtered in Gaza. So just like when I said Trump comes out and says, forget Epstein, move along, I go, that's the dumbest thing you could say or do. It's going to blow up. Well, this is 100 times more insane. What Netanyahu is doing is trying to get the whole world to turn against Israel and have a giant Arab uprising against Israel so he can play God and keep them in a constant war. He wouldn't be in power right now if this wasn't happening. So Israel is committing political suicide. And people go, well, great, drive them into the ocean. They got nuclear weapons, dumbasses. It's like starting a war with the Russians. You know where that ends. But this is Israel going wild, stirring all this up. And then people are like, good, we'll destroy them. You're not going to destroy them. You're going to get us all destroyed. Trump's like, hey, let's build golf courses and hire the Palestinians to run them. Israel's like, nah. They could go in there and remove Hamas and all them and go in there and rebuild that. Those people would be converted to capitalism in 10 seconds. And the ones that aren't, well, they can be shipped wherever. But the point is that Saudi Arabia's got to plan all of it. They're going to give Israel the money to do it. And Netanyahu goes, no. Because he wants total, complete chaos. And he's got a bunch of wound up, crazy people. I mean, the polls are as high as 85% of the Israelis want to just wipe out every Palestinian. And don't tell me they're not Palestinians. Palestine's a real thing. A lot of them are vagabonds. I get that part. I get nobody wants to take them. I wouldn't turn my back on a Palestinian on average for 10 seconds. I get that. See, just because they're bad on average doesn't mean you get to blow up 5-year-olds in front of everybody and then, tell us it's all okay. And then you start blowing up the Christians that don't do a damn thing to you. And more, the Israelis are beating up Christian tour groups that come, including tour groups associated with Huckabee, because the Jews on average over there are so wound up like a beehive and so pissed at everybody. It reminds me in France and Spain, they're attacking and burning and going after tourists saying, we don't want you here, even though most of their economy is tourism. I mean, it's not just the Israel acting like this. It's nuts. I mean, the Israelis ought to be kissing Christians' asses and red carpeting them for tourism. But no, instead, Christians are being treated like filth over there now. And it wasn't like that 20, 30 years ago. And so the more Netanyahu gets Israel attacked, the more wound up and tribal the Jews get, you see. And then the more crazy they go, the more crazy everybody else goes. And now it just goes on. Yeah, I mean, you got, it's just, I mean, I could find 100 new videos a day of Jews beating Christians up and spitting on them. Now, that's not all the Jews over there, but do the Jews understand the world is watching you act like crazy people? And I can look second, third, fourth order where this goes. All right, the toll-free number to join us is 877-789-2539. 877-789-2539. 877-789-ALEX. On all these big subjects, first-time callers. 877-789-2539. But really, your report card on Trump's what I'm really looking for. 877-789-2539. So, do you want me to read this article on Infowars that has links to the Israeli news? I mean, this is really nasty stuff. Israel's settlers again commit terrorist attack against Christians in West Bank. That's the State Department. That's Huckabee saying, whoa, 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 we're kind of turning a blind eye while you wipe out the Muslims, but you don't need to attack the Christians. And in response, they're like, pound sand, old man. Just give us that Christian Zionist money and shut the hell up. Despite U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee's recent visit to the Tibet, the last fully Christian town in the West Bank, he went there to give it attention a few weeks ago to stop the attacks, during which he condemned the violence against the town and called for harsh consequences for the perpetrators' aggressive attacks on the village, firebombing people's houses, churches. Early Monday, according to several local reports, Israeli settlers assaulted homes with stones and firebombs and everything else, attempted to set houses afire, threatened to the inhabitants with graffiti messages saying, we're going to get you, and again, burned up, blew up more things. German ambassador to Israel, Stefan Siebert, condemned the attacks Monday. Whether the target is a Christian village or a Muslim community, these extremist settlers may claim divine mandate. The only truth, they are criminals, strangers to any authentic faith. The Forum for the Holy Land Christians also released a statement Monday decrying the terrorist attack and demanding an in-depth investigation into the international neutral body, accountability for the terrorist and actions against those who incite the terrorists. You got the IDF shooting Christians in the West Bank and Gaza and everywhere else. Vatican News reported that the attackers are part of an extremist Israel group called Hilltop Youth, known for setting up illegal outposts in Palestinian territory and committing violence against Palestinians in their land. According to terrorism expert Ami Pedhuzer, Hilltop Youth adhere, and we link to their sites, to the Communist worldview, endorsing deportation, revenge, and annihilation of Gentiles that pose a threat to the people of Israel. Amid their latest attack in the village, the Israeli settlers reportedly set fire to the town's cemetery and the historic Church of St. George, one of the oldest religious landmarks in Palestine. Father Bahir Fawadi, parish priest of the Church of Christ the Redeemer in the village located east of Ramallah, recently lamented, "We do not live in peace, but in daily fear of siege." And it goes on with more examples. Now, here's another one. Israeli settlers attack West Bank Christian village again. Here's the statement by Ambassador Mike Huckabee condemning the terrorism. That was on July 16th, half a month ago, 2 weeks ago, and it's only getting worse. Meanwhile, over 40 Christians killed in ISIS-linked terrorist attack on Congolese Catholic Church, with hundreds of other murders. So this is what goes on in places in Africa like the Congo. So the average American thinks, oh, just support Israel. They're fighting Islam. And yeah, you can say they are, and also stirring it up and then putting radical Islamist groups in control so they have a new enemy. But Netanyahu wants to ship the Palestinians to Europe and the U.S. No, you can keep them. But Europe's waking up. Berlin's special visa program for Syrians, Afghans, and Iraqis has been scrapped. Europol chief of their police force says 12-year-olds killed for $20,000 cash. They don't tell you in her statement what they're talking about. They're talking about North Africans and Muslims. Muslim aliens demand for female-only care of wife at Austrian hospital rejected. These people just demand everything, man. It is just something else. You know what? I got an idea for all the Middle Easterners. Just in average, your culture, what you do, what goes on over there. You got all our oil money. You got all the rest of it. I don't want to interfere in your countries. Israel, you can go over there, do whatever you want. Muslims, do whatever you want. How about you just leave us alone? How about Israel doesn't have its lobby manipulating our government? And how about the Muslims trying to take over all these governorships and mayoral things and all your crap and running down the country and running down Christians and running down white people? If we're so bad, just go away. And by the way, the old days of us kissing your ass is over, okay? People are sick of it. We're sick of Ilhan Omar. We're sick of Benjamin Netanyahu. We're sick of all of you. And black Americans are sick of you trying to have a race war. And Hispanic Americans, more and more. And white people, we're done. We know the problem. It's these big corporations and these special interests that want to make us all fight with each other. And because we've been so politically correct and so into being guilty, Christianity's been taken over the last 60, 70 years and turned into this white guilt thing. It was England and the Protestants that banned slavery all over the world. It was white people made the first moves to ban slavery. The only places it's still going on is Arab places and places in Africa. I will no longer be told I'm evil because of the color of my skin when I have nothing to do with any of this. But liberals and liberal black people and all of them think it's like some piggy bank they've got. It's like some royal title that they're not white, so they get to tell me I've done something wrong and I'm out to get them. No, I'm smart enough to not blame everybody that's black or brown, and not even most of them, but your leaders, and you're trying to manipulate me and make me feel guilty, and instead, I resent you. And I'm sophisticated enough to not slide into hating all of you, and I've been warning for decades, all this anti-white stuff is designed to turn white people into rabid racists via survival mechanism, so the globalists can then play all the sides off against each other. Because if we ever got unified around good policies and good monetary systems and good healthcare and good culture and unified around that and Christianity, that's how we don't all kill each other. People think sectarianly they're going to run off and create their own black community, their own white community. And maybe for a while you'll be okay and actually do good, not because you're away from black people or white people overall, but because you're away from the cities and away from outside influences of the culture. But it's Hollywood and the left that is poisoning all of us. It's Big Pharma attacking all of us. So you can hide out in the countryside. Believe me, I know it's very seductive, and it's good to have that as a backup if you can. And good, to, but you better take the country back, or they're going to get you in the countryside later. You understand? There's no hiding in the sand or pulling your little turtle head in. We'll come back with your calls. All right, we are back live on this live Wednesday transmission. I want to go to your phone calls. I mentioned this yesterday, but I should mention it more. Tonight, 8 to probably about 10:30 Central, I'm going to be debating Nick Fuentes. And I do disagree with him overall that Trump's doing nothing on the border deportations. I disagree with him on that we should just get rid of Trump and that Trump's overall bad. And I get his points, but it's going to be a real debate. It'll be a friendly debate. And people say, oh my gosh, he's a big racist. Well, compared to the liberals saying all whites are inherently evil and we need to get rid of all the white people at the universities. And it just, no. The left's taking us there. And I think it's overall healthy to not be politically correct and not have all this wokeism. Now, he does it in a very flamboyant style on purpose. And he even admits, he goes too far. But I look forward to the debate. Now, I'm going to go on at 8 and cover all the latest news and stuff. And then he's going to come on at 9, where he's going to simulcast on Rumble on his channel, Nick J. Fuentes, and on X. And by the way, everybody else is welcome to pick up our feeds and restream them. This stuff all belongs to you. So join me tonight, 8 o'clock Central. And I'll call Nick. Maybe see if we can get him on a little bit earlier, too. But I know he does his show at 9. But if he wants to launch early, we can go at 8:30. But I went to bed at midnight last night and got up at 5 a.m. and I feel great, but I did a long hike and some swimming today, early this morning. So I got to get 5 hours sleep. And so I figure we'll shut it down about 10:30. If he comes on a little bit earlier, we'll get more than an hour and a half of debate. And we'll take some questions from his audience because he's got that live feed, super chats and all the rest of it. We don't do that, but he does. So it'll be a debate/discussion show. Tonight, 8 p.m. it kicks off, Central Time at Real Alex Jones on X and Infowars.com/show. It'll be on the AJN Live feed on X as well. At AJN Live, be sure and follow that there for the Alex Jones Network. The backup system, in case they shut it down, is growing, and more. But we should also probably post that on X, that graphic, and let people know the times. So just ask Chase or one of the other great crew members. Most of the tweets I write, but sometimes I dictate them, and I needed to do that. I forgot to do that. So please, let's take that graphic, let people know the show times, and to watch it at Real Alex Jones. And join us this evening. Okay, I just spent probably too much time on the Israel thing because in the scale of things, this Russia thing is much bigger. But it's still important to cover. Let me hit this Russia thing, and then I'm going right to your phone calls. You have the EU cutting billions of dollars because of corruption to Ukraine. You have Trump slowing and stopping most weapons deliveries to them. You have a lot of criticism by Trump of Zelensky. The fact that he's not elected now for a year and a half, that he's banned even his loyal opposition parties and taken over the media and banned the Orthodox Church. And Russia wants free and fair elections over there. I think that's reasonable as part of the deal to end the war. And Trump has said to Russia, we may give heavy weapons to Ukraine to start bombing Moscow. Now he's given them 10 to 12 days as of yesterday. I hope that's just saber rattling. Russia came out and said, we're not taking those threats. We're not going to stop for our security. You wouldn't put up with this. We're not. You got a real peace deal. Let's do it. If not, you just keep your threats. And then Russia came out today and said, oh, you want 100% tariff on us? We already have total tariffs. It made us stronger. Please, we want you to do it. So the Russians aren't going to fold. And the smartest moves, I said for a long time, but with Barnes yesterday, would be to remove Zelensky. And I don't mean kill him, but the word I've heard is that for months, Trump's State Department and others have been talking to the political opposition, also talking to some of his top people, and now they're meeting with the EU people. And obviously NATO doesn't want that, but they're talking about removing Zelensky because he won't make deals either. Western and Ukraine officials held secret meeting on ousting Zelensky. So do I believe the Russians when they say this? I already said this. I already believe this before they said it. They say they have intelligence showing it. Top officials in Kiev saluted Western plans to replace the Ukrainian leader with former military chief Valery Zaluzny, the SVR said. U.S. and U.K. officials have secretly met with key Ukrainian power brokers to discuss ousting Volodymyr Zelensky and replacing him with former military chief, according to Russia's foreign intelligence services. Yeah, I said months ago, though I can't pronounce his name well, that that's who they're probably replacing with. Mordecai in Maryland on Israel, politics versus reality. Mordecai.
Hello?
Yep, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, how are you?
I'm all right, go ahead.
Good. All right. First of all, long-time listener, a lot of respect for you. Just wanted to give you an idea. You've really pushed me in the areas of research to question, to be emotionally honest. All my life, I've been someone who's studied people, studied our world, our history as I guess us as humans, and that has led me, I guess, over the years to really debate, to explore, and to engage with everyone from my own faith, from my own community, from different races, and I've done that for some years now. And I guess where I want to be at here with you is just to create and to see if you and I could either debate or just explore together the difference between what I would call modern Israel and the biblical Israel. The biblical Israel being what I would believe is like the children of Jacob, us Jews, separate from, let's say, modern Israel, right? I don't trust politicians. I don't trust politics. I don't trust Bibi further than I could throw him, not because he's an Israeli Jew politician, but more so because he takes a place in politics. I think a lot of your points that you make regarding Israel and the Mossad are extremely valid, and we have enough evidence to say that we should definitely have our finger on the pulse there. But I think it's dangerous to conflate Bibi, Israel, Mossad, Israel, and then the Jewish nation at large from, let's say, if we're looking at it at a macro view.
Oh, listen, I totally agree. It's like I don't like the communist Chinese government. I don't blame the Chinese people for that. So, I mean, I agree with you. But then they have a modern Christian Zionist view that whoever's in power in Israel, you must do what they say or you will be cursed. Well, and so I think that is a manipulation as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I would agree with that. Again, that testament, I don't know if it lives strong. Again, I'm only going to talk from my close, intimate relationship, let's say, that I have here in Maryland, in New York, and Florida. And I explore a lot, and I've had debates. I talk with rabbis. I talk with non-believers. I do a lot of outreach with young kids. And
sure, but I mean, in general, you think it's bad to do it, and it's a really bad look when the settlers are burning up the last few Christian churches, and even Mike Huckabee, that I'll just say it, is sycophantic towards Israel because he makes so much money off of it. I mean, he leads tours there. He's like, hey guys, stop attacking the Christians. You know, this is bad for business, and they're not stopping.
Yeah, so that was.
And I understand it's a minority of the Jews doing it, but the point is, it's happening. Correct,
and if I could, and one of the things I want to get on is that if I could give a message to any Jews that are watching or listening, and a message that I'm consistently trying to push via social media. Again, I'm doing this all. I'm not doing it for clicks. I'm not doing it for fame, for money. I'm not doing it for clout. I'm doing it because I really believe a testament that you've given off a lot is that it's our job as humans, whether we're Jewish, Muslim, Christian, black, white, Asian, it's our job to get in the info war, to educate, to arm yourself, and then as best as you can emit this energy to the world, and it will heal with us. So, but at the same time, every Jew that's listening, we do need to take responsibility. We have this idea called Chilul Hashem. It's when you embarrass God's name in front of the world. And one of the biggest versions of that would be when a Jew embarrasses another Jew on their actions, where the second Jew looks at the first one being embarrassing and says, one second, if this is his actions, then maybe I'm not really part of this religion. Maybe it's got it wrong. And that's one of the worst things a Jew can do. And I think the Jewish people right now, in light of everything that's been going on, let's say over the past 7 years, we need to realize how much light is being shed onto us, how many eyes are looking at us. And if we look throughout history, that when times like this come, the first thing the Jews need to do is realize, get out of the public eye. It's not about us. Stop making parades. Stop making attention onto yourself. We definitely have a story to tell. We definitely have trauma, obviously, in our history, as does many other nations. But our responsibility right now is like you're saying, any opportunity that we can show the world we are not here to fearmonger. We are not here to control. We are not here to create genocide and or murder. We're here to constantly walk with those next to us to heal the world. Now, I know
listen, an interesting call. I got to be fair to all the other callers, but I hear your point. And yeah, I mean, look, Michael Savage is pro-Israel, but he's America first. He's like, Netanyahu needs to go. I mean, the State Department is condemning Israel's settlers for terrorism. I mean, like, they're burning up Christian churches. This is, again, I'm like, oh, great, Israel's really screwing itself over now. It's like, stop it. And I get it. Israel's all wound up in a big tribal war. I don't agree with it, but it's just insane. And it goes back to the Native Americans and the settlers. I mean, the Native Americans, most of them were barbarous, murdering people. They'd come and say, help us kill the other tribe, we'll kill you. And then the settlers would get wound up and kill them, and then the Indians would massacre them, and then we massacre them. This is what goes on, folks. So I understand how this stuff operates. I am simply saying that this is leading down a very dangerous path because Netanyahu wants continual war to stay in power. And I can look where this is going, and it is bad. And I don't want to, I'm glad we got a call on that, but it's just like out of everything going on, it's not the most important thing, but it's definitely important. All right, Will in Wisconsin on Israel as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, Trump report card first. I would say A+++ on the curve, B solid. You know, everybody knew beforehand that he's not the anti-Jew guy. I mean, he's from New York. He's the chaos and order president, blood moon eclipse president, the avenger, the reclaimer, their reaper, our Obama. So I think he's doing a great job, especially when you compare it to other presidents. And with Israel, you know, I think it's on its face now that they're doing prima facie genocide, given the starvation, forced removal, the concentration camps. I saw videos of them like cooking next to the starving Palestinians and letting the smells waft over and making them tortured that way.
Well, the really bad stuff is like shooting 10-year-old kids that are playing with, you know, sticks in the street. And then, oh, it's an accident. And then it's like, you understand this is on international television. Like, and they're like, we don't care. And it's just like, okay, whatever. I mean, it's really bad.
Yeah, and it's on 4K. There's so much cell phone now. It's not like